trimmed down quite a bit. I let it kind of go over the last 6 months or so. But I will tell
Absolutely.
you that was while Roseanne was filming
Uh-huh.
her new TV series, and Randy Quaid clearly let his go. So I wasn't about to let him get ahead of me because you know he's playing a part
Uh-huh.
that's based on me. So I can't let the surreal overtake the real, and so
Correct.
I had to keep it going out. So in fact, somebody sent a picture of Randy over, and I said to Roseanne sent it, and I sent one back, and we look pretty close to identical right now. So it was pretty fun.
Absolutely.
It was
Well,
pretty fun.
Juanito, welcome to the Mel Carmine Show. These are 5 subjects that we'll be discussing today. Trump visiting China. I want to get your take on it. The conflict in Iran, the upcoming conflict in Cuba, the alleged sponsored mass shooting in San Diego, and we're going to get into med beds, what's real, what's not, what's fake, what's woo woo, what's voodoo, and all that shit. As a matter of fact, at
Woo
some
woo,
point,
woo
yeah,
woo.
woo woo,
Yeah.
there you go. At some point, 107 is going to come down to staying alive at the right place to do it at, at our center. And we're going to get really, really deep on this subject. This way we could separate facts from fiction and nonsense, right? There's a lot of nonsense going on out there. So there's a lot of podcasters out there right now, Juanito, talking a lot of shit about Donald Trump coming home with nothing from this China trip. I thought personally he did a fabulous job. What is your take on it?
Seriously, what podcaster? What are they talking about? Coming home with nothing?
Yeah,
He went
exactly.
there and got all sorts of things accomplished before he ever even got on the plane. Excuse me, if you're looking for everything to be on the table whenever Trump does something, then you're missing most of the game. Before Trump even climbed on the plane, he sent Bessent, Treasury Secretary Bessent, over to South Korea,
Okay.
and uh, the counterpart, his counterpart out of China, came and met with him, and they had a little powwow, a little talk, came to a certain understanding. Next thing you know, the president of South Korea is out of jail. They had election fraud in South Korea, just like we've had in other places around the world, and including here in the
Let's
U.S.
call it election discrepancies for fluff tube.
Nah, it's fraud.
Yeah.
It's fraud. Discrepancies. Let's not. Actually, let me
Sugarcoated,
just
right?
say this. This is about who runs not just our country, but essentially the free world. And when they steal these elections and put people into office who aren't the will of the people locally, just like what you identified out in California, um, then they do all sorts of wonky things that suit their paramours, the people that love them so much and that they love back. Look at Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles. Before we're done with that, um, there's all sorts of revelations about how the vote's been going in LA. The Smartmatic system that they claim is their own unique vote system. Los Angeles County has its own vote system. It's based on this old Smartmatic system. And by the way, that's the system that got tossed out of the Philippines for all the fraud that was going on there, and dozens of other countries around the world, and they still use that thing. They just put a different label on it. It's like me putting Studebaker over the Ford emblems on my F-350. Okay, really? Is it a Studebaker? No, it's got the emblem though. It's tough. It really works good. Yeah, okay. Bullshit. Um, the reality is we're coming for all of that fraud, and California is going to be amongst the worst of it when you learn some of the stuff that we know about how they did things in the vote with all the counties in California. Oh my gosh, it's people are just they're gonna be so livid, including the fraud on the school bonds. Oh man, the property owners out there, um,
Absolutely.
the California is right at the top of the list. They're just going to come right off the rails. Well, and
Yeah.
by the way, their rail their rail bonds. Okay, they were
Hmm.
building trains to nowhere. You know, it's going to be quite something.
Yeah, let's talk about your event a little bit that you're having down at the Ahern. Amber and I are programmed to come. We already got our hotels. We got our airfare booked. We're ready. We're ready. I think she's got to get a rent a car. That's it. I don't do
Well,
Uber.
I don't even know you'd want to rent a car. I mean, part of the thing is that we're providing all the meals, and the
Yes.
reason I'm doing that for the price. I mean, you know, we're charging $350 for the event.
Right.
It's 3 days. I'm providing a world premiere of a major movie that may very well it's Sound of Freedom, which Jim Caviezel was in. Uh, you know, did this incredible numbers on the gross, and Jim says this is actually a better movie as far as his um, performance, his acting, his trade than anything that he's been able to do so far. So where he gets to actually, you know, bring everything to it. And so I'm anxious to see it myself. I haven't seen it yet. This is the world premiere, and nobody else has seen it out in the public. Um, and in fact, uh, even today, I flew out to Florida to secure the screen we're going to use. And I didn't feel that the Ahern had a big enough one. We couldn't find one available in Nevada that we could get that had the latest technology. And so I just came out and worked the deal. So we'll have this is going to be an epic event, and the people showing up. I
Absolutely.
can't even mention some of the people who have asked to be able to come in, um, who are seeking security clearances to, or um, uh, personnel to be able to get through. And so we may have to add the metal detectors in the search table. We hadn't wanted to, but that may in fact have to happen, and just because of the level that we're going up to. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I know you mentioned and some of the names. When we were not recording, pretty impressive. You get any of those people there? I think they're going to be talking about this event for a very,
Well,
very
the
long
people
time
have
to come.
already committed. I mean, I have Edward Bolsonaro, the son of the president of Brazil, who's in prison in Brazil right now. His
Hmm.
election was stolen from him. Uh, and that's who the movie Dark Horse is about, is the president of Brazil. That's who Jim Caviezel portrays in the movie. And so, you know, that's Monday night. We start right out of the box, just doing something amazing. And there's a full dinner on Monday night. We'll have popcorn for the movie, and then we go right into it with the fraud fighter stuff. And there's a number of amazing speakers that we've had to kind of trim back because we have others that are even more amazing, and there's only so much time, and so we've kind of juggled things. I may yet do another conference or two, as I discussed with you, later in the summer, and you know, in other parts of the country. But I
Sure.
haven't committed to that yet because of I want to get this done. It's become such an important one, and yeah, I think it'll be the one that people, you know, all summer. This was the one uh, you didn't want to miss. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
let me just say this: it's easy to hype and puff and make a big deal of it. You know, we were over half sold out before we even mentioned the movie. We were about 2/3 sold out, and when we announced the movie,
Right.
um, that wasn't even going to happen. And
Right.
then on top of that, we've uh, had a modification on a couple of speakers that has just gone to the moon, and the presentations. Um, and then we added, after all that, I was just doing a breakout session on Wednesday night with the people who are briefing people at the White House, at Homeland Security, et cetera, on the technicalities of exactly how the votes being frauded in, you know, the computer world and tied to the ballots and all that.
Hmm.
Very technical discussion. Well, shoot, I thought, you know, I'd be lucky if I had a dozen guys that wanted to sit there and go through all of that.
Right.
most everybody showing up wants to be there.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, listen, if
you
we have
know,
anything to do with it, we'll make sure that all those tickets will be sold out. And when they're sold out, they're sold out. Typically these things in the last
yeah,
two, three
we're
weeks is
pretty
when they.
close right now. I mean, we've got well, the only other thing I'll add is that in fact I'm going to be in a meeting tomorrow over at the Ahern. They're uh, making some special accommodations. I don't want to say what for the moment
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
would allow us to bring in about 100 more people. And of course, I went and jumped to get a screen that's more appropriate as far as I'm concerned for the size of the crowd and like that to make sure that you know we make the absolute best presentation. Uh, uh, actually higher quality than what you get in the theater.
Right.
So pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Um, and just reviewed that, and so we're the absolute latest technology was what we're doing. It's pretty cool, the sound and all that. So it's going to be a really a world class top drawer thing for the movie, and then of course all of the other
Well,
folks that
I
present
can tell
will
you,
have
you
it.
ain't making any money at $375, whatever it is you're charging for 3 days with food. I know how these things go, and it's not a
Well,
profit making
let
proposition.
me say this was it
Yeah,
was never about making money.
yeah.
I wanted to cut a sharp pencil. We've added from what the original price was. We've added so much to it. I mean, a world premiere of several of the speakers that have asked if they could present. I have another one that is flying in from out of the country and was hoping for an hour. I says, if I can give you 15 or 20 minutes, because the other ones, the technical presentations, um, the stuff that's going to courts and things like that, I need enough time to actually get those presentations fully in. And there's only three of them that are about an hour. Peter Tickton, President Trump's friend, he's presenting, and he said the other day, he said he thought this was as important as any speech he's ever given in his whole life because he's got some stuff he wants to release that he's never put out there before. That's Tina Peters' attorney also. And by the way, um, we the parole board on Tina's case will determine what the limitations are and restrictions on her for doing anything. But the appeals court said you can't restrict her free speech and sent her back for resentencing. The governor, in his comments when he commuted her sentence to time served, which didn't eliminate the sentence, it just left all that in place. We're still going to fight through in court on that, but
Hmm.
he said her sentencing was based on restricting her free speech. So the question is, while she's on parole, um, are they going to try, is the parole board going to try to keep her able to speak publicly about the things that happened here? Um, and I apologize, I got a call coming in.
No problem. No problem.
There we
Um,
go.
I, I'm actually, as we're talking, I'm forwarding your promo that we created on social media on Telegram.
Anyway, but the short of it is that, here she's supposed to be on parole. The only thing the parole is really supposed to do is ensure that because she's essentially a felon, uh, that's all going to get overturned eventually. But in the meantime, they can restrict her speech. Are they going to say that she can't go get medical treatment anywhere she wants it? They're going to restrict her to Colorado. I don't think that's happening.
Exactly.
Um, and then
Exactly.
the other thing is, are they going to restrict what she can say? That's what was wrong with the sentencing. So, can she be there, present at the event, and then, if so, is she able to speak her mind, or are they going to try and cap that again? I can tell you this: they try to mess with her, you're going to have a whole country full of pissed off people with the parole board in Colorado. So we'll see how that is. We don't want to put her in the spot,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean the rest of us have to be put on the spot. It's actually a big deal,
It is. It
and
is.
we would love to have. And when I started planning for this, plan for it, mind that we wanted Tina to be able to present at this event. So timing wise, that's at least in realm, even if she had to do it. We don't know where she's at on a number of issues. And uh, she's got kind of a checklist of things that she has to address. So we'll give her lots of room. But at the end of the day, we're dedicating the computers
Yeah,
and
I'm
have been just
flashing.
before we got the announcement of her getting to be released.
Yeah, I'm flashing your promo as you speak right now on our page. Here, I'm showing it to the
Yeah,
audience.
yeah.
They can call the number 702-305-3322 and get more information and book your ticket. There's the flyer. We will leave the link down below. We got it on all of our Telegram
Well,
channels,
and
which is,
let me just add this
yeah.
on the website. I don't want to waste too much time on this, but
Hmm.
on the website, if they want rooms, we have rooms at the Sahara
Okay.
for $89. They're half price. And
Yeah.
then the Sahara also agreed to cut their resort tax in half.
Hmm.
The Ahern sold out. It was sold out like 2 days after we announced the event.
Right, right, right.
The Trump has rooms at 129 a night, and they also agreed to cut the resort tax in half. So, I mean, when are you going to get a room at the Trump for 129?
Right,
Give me a
right.
break. I mean, so, and the reason I mentioned that along with food, we're providing 7 full meals. The breakfasts are not just a croissant and coffee; they're full breakfast. The lunches are a full lunch.
Wow.
The dinners are a full dinner. Why?
Wow.
Because I don't want people to feel that they have to leave the event
Exactly.
to go get something to eat and then come back. I want people to stay because you're going to get a chance to network, rub shoulders with some of the greatest people within the Patriot operations movement. And I want you to stay there and spend time with other people. And so by having the food all right there,
Yeah.
you don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah,
And
we're coming a day early.
uh,
We're coming a day early on the 17th after it's over. I'm driving across the desert again to go see mom. Let's get back on track. The conflict in Iran seems to be hitting a non-negotiable proposals. The United States says nope, enough is enough. We're not going there. We're not taking that offer. They keep putting these offers on the table that are like less than what's expected, and we see that maybe Cuba will follow immediately after the Iran conflict is over. You think that Cuba may end up becoming a 51st state? Support the movement. Visit QFS1776.com for exclusive one of a kind merch that
experience some kind of horror as all these communist operations do what they do. And it's just one of those ones that just never goes away. So
right,
it's
right,
been very hard for the Cuban people.
right.
With that in mind, uh, uh, we're about to see that get lifted. Here's why. We're going to send, and I know a lot of people still sit there and want to give me all the BS about Gitmos never happening. Well, stick it in your freaking where the sun don't shine. Gitmos happening. And part of why that it's we need to get Cuba under control. China, Russia too, but not so much so anymore.
Mm-hmm.
China has massive listening post operations and are deeply embedded into Cuba in 1,000 different ways. We don't want China being able to play around right next to Guantanamo as we go full, uh, tilt into placing people there and the operations there, trying to go freaking, pound sand.
Right.
And so, uh, and remember, it was Cubans that were really running Venezuela
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. You couldn't get a driver's
Correct.
license. You couldn't get your, retirement check. You couldn't go to the bank and there wasn't a Cuban there monitoring every last thing you were doing. I mean, the minders, all of the security detail for Maduro
Mm-hmm.
were Cubans. I mean, to the 90th percentile. Um, and so Cuba was running Venezuela, and then taking oil from Venezuela for nothing, and then enforcing China's will in Venezuela. All the Chinese personnel there doing what they were doing. So what had to happen is that we have essentially they're all hitchhiking home from Venezuela. They're getting back to Cuba, and they're not getting nice receptions. These intelligence and military and like that, including the ones that are all over Mexico, and so and the Cuban people have been ready for a long time, but like so many places, you know, you can get disappeared really easy by
Yes.
just saying the wrong word. And so that's all in play right now. And
Yeah.
it's not that Iran is directly tied to the Cuba stuff, but let me as far as when we go to do what we're doing in Cuba, but let me just say this. I remember when I got a call from one of my folks, and they an Iranian aircraft that actually wasn't Iranian. It was literally hijacked under the Obama administration from an American,
Mm-hmm.
uh, a person of another origin who was here operating his businesses in America, and they literally hijacked a fleet of aircraft to do all the mischief that was being done by three-letter agencies across the country. And let me, I'm being a little vague because some of this stuff won't come out for quite some time. Um, when Evergreen Airways was, um, for decades had been, tongue in cheek, the CIA's private airline, and my friend Dale Smith was running that. Um, they were running the flights, supply flights, and things like that, very openly under contract to Department of Defense and Homeland Security and other things, to Afghanistan and Iraq and all sorts of things. And they actually modified aircraft specifically to accommodate the needs of our Defense Department for groups and security and all sorts of things. Under the Obama administration, they literally hijacked somebody's fleet of aircraft
Mm-hmm.
and used them for all sorts of nefarious things. Well, they didn't need Evergreen anymore. And so they flushed Evergreen. Why? Because a patriot was running it and they didn't want him knowing what they were doing. He'd have
Yes.
questioned, is this legal? You see? And so they forced him into bankruptcy because they removed all of his contracts. They destroyed a beautiful American businessman. He was getting on in years, but he had his health. But the drama was so extreme, so great. Um, I think it just the only way to say it is it broke his heart. He had created this whole thing from scratch. Had worked hard, um, been a great um, asset to America, the American
Right.
people through thick and thin,
Right.
and they destroyed him. He still has a legacy of the Air Museum. Howard Hughes's. Uh, he never liked the name Spruce Goose, um, but his aircraft that he built uh, uh, is up there in the museum. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful. It's one of the best air museums on the planet. It's
Mm.
unbelievable, and that we still have. But they destroyed his airline.
Yeah.
He had other collections. It is one of the saddest things.
Yeah. We have
Um,
breaking news right now. Sorry to interrupt you, Juanito. Allegedly, breaking news: we have a man murdered inside. A man. They're saying that he's a male prostitute found dead inside the Indiana home of Mike Pence. This is allegedly breaking news right now. It's happening as we speak. So that's pretty wild. What do you say about that?
well, let's see where it goes. I don't want to comment on something that I don't have direct knowledge on, and there's going to be lots of other people that have more direct knowledge or information and like that. I mean, that's certainly just
Yeah.
like what you said. That's
Yeah.
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and but let's see how it develops. A lot of times, you know, some of the stuff you get right off the bat's the most accurate, and then they start tweaking it to go other
Right.
places
Of
and
course.
put the right spin on it. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times I'll preserve the first few comments
Sure.
or things that I hear before it gets a chance to go to the round tables and all the other stuff, and people start putting their own, stuff into it. But
Yeah.
that's certainly, you know, that'll be driving headlines for a few days.
I'm sure. I'm sure.